People think the moment you break is loud, a scream, a slammed door, a dramatic resignation. That's a lie. The moment I broke happened quietly at 8:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. When my manager walked past my desk, glanced at my screen and said, "Make sure this looks good before I present it, not we present, not you present. Just I present," I smiled and said, "Of course," but that was the sound of another piece of me disappearing. I had been at the company for 4 years by then. 4 years of being dependable, easy, and the person people trusted to clean up their messes. I wasn't stupid. I just believed the lie that hard work is noticed, that loyalty is rewarded, and that being agreeable makes you indispensable. What it actually makes you is invisible. I joined the company right out of college, a mid-sized firm with clean branding and a people-first culture. During onboarding, HR told us we don't just hire talent, we hire character. I took that seriously. I showed up early, stayed late, and triple-checked everything. If someone asked for help, I didn't check my workload. I checked my conscience. My first manager loved me not because I was exceptional, but because I was useful. "You're solid," he said once. "Rock solid. I never have to worry about you." That should have scared me. It didn't. When he left, they brought in a new director named Ethan, late 30s. Charismatic and always talking about visibility and optics. He was the kind of guy who spoke confidently even when he was wrong. He shook my hand on his first day and said, "I hear you're the backbone of this team." I smiled, not realizing he meant that literally. A backbone isn't seen, it's used. Within weeks, the pattern started. He would stop by my desk and ask me to put something together real quick, which usually meant hours or days of work. He'd ask for my opinion in private, then repeat it in meetings as his own. If I spoke up, he'd interrupt. If I stayed quiet, he'd nod and keep talking. Once, during a team meeting, I started explaining a solution to a problem we'd been stuck on. Halfway through, Ethan cut in, finished my thought, and explained my idea to the room, slower, louder, and with more confidence. Everyone nodded and called it smart. I didn't correct them. I told myself it didn't matter. I became the person people went to when they didn't want to fail publicly. They'd message me late at night with quick questions, and I always answered. I thought being needed was the same as being valued. It isn't. Being needed just means they know where to extract from you. The project that changed everything was called Horizon. It was a big client with big money, career-defining work. Ethan put me on it immediately, saying he needed someone he could trust. I worked on Horizon for 3 months, late nights, canceled plans, and a life shrunk down to one project. I built the framework, ran the numbers, and anticipated every objection. Ethan checked in briefly once a week with vague praise like, "Looks strong." The night before the final presentation, he asked me to send everything, all files, notes, and talking points. I hesitated for a moment, then sent them. The next morning, I arrived early to find the conference room door closed. Ethan was already inside, presenting my slides, my words, and my work. He didn't acknowledge me once. At the end, when the client praised the work, Ethan smiled and said, "That's what we do." Afterward, executives joked about his future promotion while I stood there holding my laptop, feeling stupid for even bringing it. Later, he stopped by my desk and said, "Great job supporting that. Couldn't have done it without you supporting that night." I stared at my ceiling and replayed every moment I'd stayed quiet. Every time I'd chosen peace over truth. A week later, promotions were announced. Ethan got a big one. I wasn't even mentioned. Instead, he called me into his office and said, "I'll need you to take on more responsibility. I need someone reliable handling execution." There it was, the reward for loyalty. More work, same position, same pay. Something in me shifted, not anger, but clarity. I started paying attention to how often my name was missing and how team effort only applied when it was time to distribute praise downward. I noticed how Ethan respected resistance and avoided confrontation with those who set boundaries. I had never been one of those people, so I decided to experiment. The next time someone messaged me at 10:30 p.m., I didn't respond until the next morning. "Happy to help. Can you loop Ethan in so we're aligned?" I wrote. The message went quiet. When Ethan asked me to revise a document last minute, I asked a simple question: "What's the priority this replaces?" He paused and told me to just do my best. I did my job, no more, no less. The reactions were subtle: confusion, mild irritation, and less warmth. Then Horizon came back for another phase. This time, I documented everything, every file, every version, every email. I spoke up in meetings calmly and factually. When Ethan tried to interrupt, I finished my sentence. When someone credited him for my work, I corrected them politely and immediately. The dynamics changed. One afternoon, HR asked for feedback. I gave them facts, timelines, files, and receipts. 2 weeks later, Ethan was reassigned. I wasn't promoted immediately, but I wasn't invisible anymore. People asked before assigning tasks and stopped assuming I would absorb everything. Months later, I was offered a leadership role. I accepted it with conditions, clear credit attribution, clear boundaries, and clear expectations. They agreed. Some people didn't like the new version of me. They said I'd changed, and they were right. I wasn't nicer or colder. I was honest. And honesty, in places built on exploitation, feels like aggression. People still ask me what made me different. I tell them the truth. Nothing happened all at once. No explosion, no speech, just one quiet realization. If you don't protect your work, someone else will take it. If you don't define your boundaries, someone else will erase them. And if you keep mistaking kindness for strategy, you'll spend your life being useful, but never respected.